It's time for your Tackle HD fishing report for Lake of the Ozarks. Here's Casey Scanlon with the latest.
Hi everyone, Casey Scanlon here. Going to give you another Lake of the Ozarks fishing report. We're heading into the second week of March. Water temperature's starting to warm up a little bit. We're getting into the mid 40s, even 50 degrees in some places. So springtime's starting to show up. We've got some really good weather, this last week, and we've got some decent weather coming, some rain coming. So that's going to put a little bit of color into the water and going to spice things up a little bit. Should heat up the water temps and get these fish moving towards spawn. So, the next step these fish are doing, they're pre-spawning right now. They're feeding. They're getting ready to go on beds. So they're staging up. And they're kind of coming out of that winter pattern. We've been talking about A-rigs and jerk baits and crappie fishing for a long time. And now we're going to be able to start talking about some other baits as the water warms up. So it's an exciting time of year. The water level's low, so you can see a lot of those rock transitions. You can see what the bank looks like throughout the rest of the year. 660 is full pool here. And we're at about 655 right now and some change. And they're scheduled to drop the lake down to 654 according to the lake report. So a lot of interesting things going on here at the lake. Had some tournaments this past weekend. A lot of fish caught, some 20-pound stringers. So spring is here, it's starting, and the fishing should get really good. Let's start with the crappie. They've been really consistent all winter. They're going to be really consistent throughout the spring as well. Big numbers of crappie in the lake. The Tackle HD Baby Shad has been my go-to. You can throw that on a slip bobber, get the depth of the fish, let that thing float over the top of brush piles, cruise it over secondary points. They have a little wind blowing across them. Just let the wind drift that across it. But my primary technique is a 16th ounce jig head. And I just stay on the move looking for them with my pan optics, whether they're in open water or whether they're underneath boat docks. I like to find boat docks that have some deep water around them, a lot of shade, and that can hold a big number of crappies. So that's what I like to target, but I like to get on that Garmin pan optics and find them. 16th ounce jig head with the Tackle HD Baby Shad. Can't go wrong there. Gonna catch a lot of fish. That's kind of like a blue ice type color. Just something natural, works most of the days, and you're going to catch some crappies. They're going to be feeding up, getting ready for the spawn, just like these bass, and here in a few months they're going to hit the banks and be really, really easy to catch. So spent a lot of time talking about crappie this winter, so let's talk about some bass. The jig right now is going to be really important going into the spring as the water's heating up. These fish are going to start moving shallower. They're starting to get around boat docks, laydowns, little channel banks. And that's where I like to throw that jig, is around those little steeper, rockier banks, points, channel banks, even brush piles. But I really like to target boat docks and shallower cover with that jig this time of year. Water temperature is getting into those upper 40s, low 50s. It's time to break out the spinnerbait. The Ozark Flash, tried and true. That's the 1/2 ounce white and chartreuse model. That's my all-time favorite spinnerbait, and it works exceptionally well this time of year. So once we start seeing those upper 40 water temperatures, I'm not going to lay that down until the bass start to spawn. So it's a great lure to catch big bass, and you get them while they're hot, because these tend to sell out during the springtime. So check out that Trophy Bass Company spinnerbait there. The Ozark Flash is deadly in the Ozarks. This is another one from Tackle HD. This is a 3/4 ounce. I like that when the bass are a little bit deeper. But this is the CS2 spinnerbait. It's got a really good hook on it. Got a trailer hook on there. Always using the Hayabusa trailer hooks. But, another option for you in the willow leaf pattern. We've got a Colorado and willow combination, but that's another great spinnerbait. Lots of vibration. Keep it on the deck of my boat all the time. Chase the wind around with the spinnerbaits. Fish them around laydowns. Fish them down the sides of docks, bluffs. Keep it in your hand, and wind is really important, all right? And as the fish, kind of start, as the water starts warming up, we're getting some rain, these fish are going to really start moving off of these points and channel banks and things like that, and really start getting into those pockets where they're going to spawn a lot better. So just keep on the move. with that jerk or with that spinner bait, and you're gonna catch some big fish. Another one of my favorites right now is the crankbait. Man, you can't go wrong with the crankhead from Tackle HD. You know, that's just a great crawdad imitator. Of course, in the spring, I like the crawdad colors the best. That's kind of a translucent red, which is really good. And as we're talking about crankbaits, let's talk about square bills a little bit. I'm breaking out my square bill box from Tackle HD. You know, I like to use a lot of bright colors in the spring. So if the fish get shallower, you know, they really start making a move, I'm gonna pick up, you know, the black and chartreuse is one of my all-time favorites, regardless of the time of year, but really good in the springtime. If we get some muddy water, fish start pushing up shallow, get around those shallow rocks and laydowns, especially in the afternoons, and that crankbait's deadly. Great way to cover water as well. That's another one of my favorites, whether you're throwing the crankhead or the square bill, that just orange crawfish pattern, a little brown and orange craw, man, great bait. Let's talk jerk baits. Water's warming up. Magnum fiddlestick, one of my favorites. Cloudy days, you know, I really like this gold color, you know, cloudy, dirtier water, that gold with that orange on that belly really shows up well. Speaking of dirty water, big fish, fish moving shallower, that's when I like the Magnum fiddlesticks. You know, the fish are starting to get a little bit more aggressive. They're feeding on big bait. They're getting ready for the spawn. And that just triggers big bites, man. You got a lot of big tournaments coming up here, and there's no better way to win a tournament than to catch the biggest fish. So like to throw the white one as well. That's just a go-to. We got stained water, you know, this time of year. So that shows up well, but it also works really good. Again, cloudy days really gets those fish active. They can see that bait in that clear water a long ways. That's a good one. When we're working in really clear water, you know, I like your more translucent colors like that. That's going to be a really good one there. Pro Blue, and of course, Table Rock Shad, one of my all-time favorites. But jerkbait bite's going to be good all the way to the spawn. It always is. To experiment with the retrieve of your jerkbait. When they're a little bit more lethargic, slow it down. But as we start seeing some warmer weather, don't be afraid to really speed that jerkbait up and get a reaction bite out of them. Soft plastics are going to start playing. The Brush Buster from Tackle HD is one of my favorites. You know, your soft stickworm style baits are going to be really good here as we get closer to the spawn. But a lot of exciting things happening here at the lake. Alabama rig's still producing with the Tackle HD swimmer on the back, and I really like to throw that Tackle HD swimmer on the back of a spinner bait. I've got one rigged up here. I'm doing some tackle, getting ready to go down for the Toyota Series at Grand Lake. So a lot of the same baits working down there, or that work down there, are going to work here. So working on my Ozarks stuff. Going to be out on the lake guiding all week. Should be an exciting, fun time to be on the water. Lots of fish are being caught, and every day is going to get better as the water warms up and we get closer to the spawn. So good luck out there. I hope this report helped, and hope you guys catch a big one out there on the water.